Nowt's had all spent, where desire is got without content. 'Tis safer to be that which we destroy, than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone? Of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts of which should indeed have died with them, they think on? Thinks without all remedy, should be without regard. What's done is done. We have scotched the snake, not killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst our poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the worlds suffer, ere we'll eat our meal in fear and sleep, in the affliction of these terrible dreams, that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we, to gain our peace, have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie, in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave. After life's fitful fever he sleeps well. Treason has done his worst, nor steel, nor poison, malice domestic, foreign levy, nothing can touch him further. Come on, gentle my lord, sleek o'er your rugged looks, be bright and jovial among your guests tonight. So shall I, love, and so, I pray, be you. Let your remembrance apply to Banquo, present him eminence, both with eye and tongue, unsafe the while, that we must lave our honours in these flattering streams, and make our faces vizards to our hearts, disguising what they are. The extract that I just read was from Shakespeare's play Macbeth. In this extract from Act 3, Scene 2 of the play, Lady Macbeth attempts to soothe Macbeth's troubled mind about the murder of King Duncan, but ironically feels the same doubt and guilt herself. Killing the king has provided them with many more difficulties than they first envisioned. To the astonishment of his wife, Macbeth reveals his plan to murder Banquo. In this scene, the text demonstrates a role reversal between Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth was most in command in the first murder, but in this murder, Macbeth is. Where formerly Macbeth was the one who needed convincing, now the weaker role passes to his wife. Macbeth's line, "Make our faces visitors to our hearts," recalls Lady Macbeth's earlier words, "To beguile the time, look like the time." Shakespeare often mirrored Lady Macbeth's quotes to Macbeth's quotes in this scene to enforce that role reversal. Similarly, while Lady Macbeth appears to be stuck in the past, Macbeth looks into the future, anticipating the next murder, of which Lady Macbeth is not yet fully aware of. This allows yet another reversal of character. This is shown in two major ways. First, by Lady Macbeth's innocent-sounding questions, and second, by Macbeth's adoption of animal imagery. In Act 1, Scene 5, Lady Macbeth was the one who spoke of the raven and the serpent. Now, Macbeth takes on the same language, comparing the future of his reign and King Duncan to a serpent, where he says, "We have scotched the snake, not killed it." Despite this role reversal, Lady Macbeth continues to comfort Macbeth and assure him that there is no point in dwelling on the past, as she assures him what's done is done. Shakespeare has created an interesting relationship between these two characters as they develop throughout the play. In the beginning, Lady Macbeth doesn't believe in her husband, as he is too full of the milk of human kindness to catch the nearest way. Macbeth is fearful of committing this crime, but Lady Macbeth is all for the situation. However, as the novel progresses and they commit a murder together, their emotions towards the situation become more similar instead of opposing. After the initial shock of committing the murder, Macbeth becomes just as power-hungry as his wife. Both Macbeth and Lady Macbeth are remorseful yet apathetic towards their actions. The line, "in affliction of these terrible dreams," demonstrates how the murder has affected his psyche and how he's having trouble living with what he has done. But the line, "Nowt's had all spent, where our desires got without content, 'tis safer to be which we destroy, than by destruction dwell in doubtful joy," demonstrates how they are willing to forget the situation to be happy. The entire point of this scene in Macbeth is to demonstrate how the characters have developed throughout the first three scenes. After they have committed King Duncan's murder, Lady Macbeth and Macbeth become extremely power hungry, and um, they start becoming unfair um, rulers. And so after um, Macbeth decides to kill Banquo to make sure that his prophecies do not come true, so that Macbeth can stay king. Um, this shows that Macbeth is now willing to do anything, whereas before he was terrified of killing King Duncan and he needed a floating sword to tell him to do it. So this scene is extremely important to the novel because it um, is kind of like the tipping point where Macbeth becomes kind of like the more crazy person compared to Lady Macbeth, where in the first three acts, Lady Macbeth was seen as like kind of creepy and she was summoning witches to unsex her so that she could commit these murders, but now she's feeling more remorseful, and later on in the play, you realize that she's actually extremely guilty, um, and she feels extreme guilty. So, I believe that this scene, or act and scene in the play, is a huge turning point for um, the characters. And as I said, this is kind of where Macbeth becomes, he kind of puts the pants on, and that's when Macbeth becomes the king his wife wants him to be, and she kind of steps down and lets him take over, which ends up being dangerous, but at the time, it seems like the best thing for Scotland.